Junior Pope has officially been buried, and his funeral is one of the saddest things I've seen this year. His burial was said to have taken place in his hometown in Enugu, and it was fully attended by family, friends, and his colleagues from the Nollywood movie industry. For those who don't remember, Junior Pope was one of the Nollywood actors who was involved in a ghastly boat accident in Annam River in Asaba, where he, along with other members of his cast and crew, lost their lives. Initially, we were told that his funeral will be regulated, and that is to say, there might not be anybody filming. However, it seems like a lot of footages are out there from his funeral procession, and it's heartbreaking. Although there was something I saw that completely broke me in pieces. And we'll get to that in a moment. Let's first address the elephant in the room, because there is something I am not understanding. Rumors are spreading that Junior Pope might have been buried with an object that may suggest that his family are urging him to go after those who killed him. This is just a rumor. There is no video of his body in a casket circulating yet. I guess that part was strictly regulated, and thank God for it. However, words are going around that people believe that Junior Pope was murdered, and I'm confused. I know usually when people die and they are buried with an object, a weapon, an axe, a knife, a machete, this is usually based on the fact that the family of the deceased believe that the deceased was murdered, and so they are giving them an object or a weapon to use to avenge their death. And this is what people are saying was done for Junior Pope. And I mean no disrespect, but I don't think it makes sense. I understand that the family might feel the way they want to feel, if indeed that is true, which I doubt it's true, but at the same time, where is the rumor coming from that he was killed? It's almost typical of us Nigerians to believe that somebody was murdered, even though we saw the person get involved in a terrible accident. There is just that part of us that believes someone somewhere was behind it. And it's sad that people still think this way as it pertains to Junior Pope, because we all saw this tragedy play before our very eyes. We covered it in real time here. He wasn't the only casualty in the boat accident, but somehow people still believe he was killed. I don't know why people are spreading that narrative. I don't know why. Are we that spiritual? Because I know the next thing people would say is, it's a spiritual attack. Somebody did something, somebody sent something. It's hard to just see that people are feeling this way. It's painful to hear people feel this way. But this is something I can agree, or this is something I can say, okay, I understand why people would think so, because we understand that his drowning was a bit sketchy. We observed his clothes was torn when his body was brought out of the river, which suggested that somebody may have tried to drag him down, because there were words that he was a good swimmer, that he could swim. And according to eyewitness, they said when the boat incident happened immediately, they saw him. He was above water, asking if everybody was okay. They even threw a jerry can at him so that he could use to float, but somehow, some way, they stopped seeing him and he vanished under the water, which I feel that he may have tried to rescue some people. And that is how a lot of good swimmers actually lose their life, when they are trying to save others with little preparation or little gear. And I think that could have been why Junior Pope may have lost his life. And I don't know if that is where people are drawing from that he was murdered, because if that is the case, whoever did it is also probably dead too. Whoever was dragging him down to save themselves may have also lost their life. And yes, there was the initial rumor that he did not die when he was brought out of the water. We covered that. We heard the words that he's alive. We saw people trying to resuscitate him. We saw them carry his body to the hospital. There were words, and the story was that he was taken to the mortuary where the attendant said that he still had life, and then rather than taking him to a hospital straight, they took him to a native doctor, and before they took him back to the hospital, he had died completely. However, that claim and that theory sort of has been debunked, and I'm starting to believe the debunked version. People are saying that the moment he was brought out of the water, he was already dead. That the only reason why anyone would have thought he was alive was maybe a muscle spasm, maybe something just spasmed in his body, and they thought that was a sign of life. And the reason why people say that he was most likely possibly dead at the time he was brought out of the river was the fact that he had been under the water for nearly 2 hours before rescue came. We did not get that detail or that information. We thought the moment the accident happened, rescuers went there to save them. However, we got to learn that it took about 2 hours before the rescuers came, before the people came to get them out of the water. 2 hours, which meant that Junior Pope might have been under the water for over an hour. So his body being brought out, there is almost no chance of life being in him, which meant, and which I agree with the people who said this, he had died the moment he was brought out of the water. So the noise or the rumors or the words that he was alive, he was taken to the morgue, he was taken to the hospital because they wanted to do some, all those are afterthoughts. All the while, he had been dead. And if people still believe that that was the case, that he was actually alive at the time he was brought out of the water, then I guess that could be where the rumor of him being killed is coming from. I think so. And I can understand that. I guess I can understand if that is where the rumor is stemming from. I just hope that, it's not something that overwhelms the incident that caused his death. The entire funeral was very tough to watch. At the same time, it's a good thing to see that he was brought back home to his family, because we know that the community where his body was found were already trying to hold him hostage, and thank God they passed through that. But something that broke my heart was the point where his children had to pay their final respect. That was the part I could not stand watching. I saw myself crying watching his kids send their dad home. I've always been a strong believer that children should not be around the funeral. Little children should not be there. It's not an easy thing to watch. It's not an easy thing to see. And to see Junior Pope's children have to pour sand into the grave, I don't know. I was shattered. Because we've seen videos of these children playing with their dad, we've seen them having fun with their dad. Junior Pope so much loved his kids, he made content with them, took lots of pictures with them. Even when he was in this boat, even his last video was him on the boat, fearing for his safety and telling the whole world that he has children to take care of. And to think that he is gone and his children are burying him and they would never see him again, it's not the easiest thing to watch. Honestly, it's really not. I know it's not easy for most men out there risking their lives to do jobs, to take care of the family, but sometimes the best gift you can give your children is being there. And now Junior Pope won't be there, and kids will just have to go on living their life without their father. It's difficult to watch. I hope they heal. I hope they're not traumatized. That is my reason why I feel like kids should not be at a funeral of their loved one, especially. I mean, they can be told they lost a loved one, but being at the funeral there with all the cry and all the sadness, I feel like it's traumatizing, in my opinion. It's quite traumatizing. It's not an image that they could easily get out of their head. It's something that will keep on playing. It's going to stick. And I don't know. I honestly don't know how I feel about that. I didn't like that part, honestly. I wish the kids were not made to go through seeing their dad being put in the sand. I just wish that was the case. I really wished so. We'll be praying for them. So thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and turn on your notification button. So whenever there is a new video, you'll be the first to get notified.